Four news stories from Ethiopia. Firstly, was Tigray government has taken a position on Russia-Ukraine conflict. The conflict started on the 24th of February. Since then, we have been waiting for some statement to know about Tigray's position about this war, because we know that Eritrea is openly supporting Russia diplomatically. Ethiopian government has announced to remain neutral. We are waiting for Tigray government's position. Now, in a statement, Tigray government has spoken on Russia-Ukraine conflict. What is Tigray government's position about this conflict? Secondly, viewers, I have been updating you about the gains of Oromo Liberation Army in West Shewa zone of Oromia region. I reported about three towns which have been taken by OLA in recent days. Now another fourth town has come under OLA control in West Shewa zone. We have a video clip of OLA fighters from this town. Thirdly, we know that hundreds of IDPs from Tigray crossed into Amhara a few days ago. I think 3 days ago. Most of them entered Kobo. What's happening after that? Are they being welcomed? How are they being seen? Lastly, while Ethiopians accuse foreigners of interfering in Ethiopian internal matters, now an Ethiopian party is trying to involve other embassies in Ethiopian internal matters. Is this right or wrong? I'm not commenting on that. I'm just letting you know that one Ethiopian political party, its officials met with some US embassy staff yesterday. Firstly, viewers, Russia-Ukraine conflict, it started on the 24th of February. We know that Eritrean government is supporting Russia at UN General Assembly sessions, at UN Human Rights Council sessions. Eritrea supported Russia openly. Ethiopian government last night clarified about its position. Ethiopian government says it will remain neutral. Now we have a statement of Tigray government about Ukraine-Russia conflict. The statement is not specifically about this conflict. The statement was issued in response to a statement of UN Human Rights Commissioner's recent statements. But in this statement, Tigray government mentioned Russia-Ukraine conflict as well. Tigray government says that the world is rightly gripped by Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. Quote unquote, Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. So this is now official position of Tigray government, that it says Russian attack on Ukraine is brutal. So Tigray is standing with US camp, with Western countries camp. Eritrea backing Russia diplomatically. Ethiopia says it's neutral, but we know that at UN General Assembly session, at UN Human Rights Council session, Ethiopia was not there to vote. Ethiopia absented itself from the session of UN Human Rights Council. Neighboring countries, Djibouti, Somalia, and Kenya, they supported resolutions against Russia. Then countries like Sudan, South Sudan, they abstained from voting at UN General Assembly, at UN Human Rights Council session. So you see that Horn is divided about how to respond to Russia-Ukraine conflict. But Tigray has made it clear that It is against Russian attack on Ukraine. Secondly, viewers, we have a new story from Oromia, West Shewa zone of Oromia. I have been updating you about ongoing territorial gains by Oromo Liberation Army in West Shewa zone of Oromia. West Shewa zone shares border with Addis Ababa. It shares border with Amhara region as well. In previous videos, I reported about 3 Waredas: Abuna Ginda Barat, Ilo Gilan, and thirdly, Jibbat Warada Shanan town. Now we have a video clip from another town of the same zone. Name of the town is Ijare. It's Ijare, and name of district is Abote. Abote, Ijare, these places are in West Shewa zone, and you would see that these places are in eastern part of West Shewa zone. So it means that OLA is trying to move towards Ethiopian capital. It's very much clear now. Abuna Ginda Barat is at a distance from Addis, but their capture of Ajire Abote shows that they are trying to move towards Ethiopian capital. Watch this clip of OLA fighters in which they can be seen celebrating in Ijare town of Abote Wareda, West Shewa zone, Oromia region. Thirdly, viewers, 2 days ago, hundreds of IDPs from Tigray crossed into Amhara region. Most of them crossed into Kobo. How many have crossed into Kobo? Thousands, if not hundreds, I think. Thousands have crossed into, don't have exact numbers, do have exact numbers, but not verified. They are at some camps in Kobo. How are they being received? Firstly, we have seen a campaign from some hardliner Amhara news outlets. They say that these Tigrayans, these people from Tigray, could be spies, they could be infiltrators, and they have been sent on purpose by the Tigray government. Tigray government is sending these Tigrayans to Eritrea, Afar, Amhara, to work as spies. This is a theory which is being presented by some news outlets. Then yesterday we received some reports that some IDPs who entered Kobo from Tigray, they have disappeared. Around 3 dozen have disappeared. Where have they gone? Have they been taken into custody for some investigations? Or did they disappear on their own? That's not clear, but some sources are saying that some have disappeared. Now, there is so much mistrust between Tigray and Amhara that these IDPs are being taken as spies. I wouldn't be commenting on whether they are spies or not, but humanitarian situation in Tigray will force people to leave Tigray. How can people survive without food? So you will see more of such displacements into Amhara, far areas, regions, and into Tigray, Eritrea as well. We could see such displacements from Tigray. So this development should be taken from humanitarian angle, that humanitarian needs in Tigray are on the rise. That is why people are being relocated on their own. They are crossing into neighboring regions. Yes, regional governments can monitor them if they have doubts, they can monitor them, but it should not be put into camps, they should not be put into detention centers like we saw in Ethiopia after the announcement of national emergency. If Amhara region, Afar region shows sympathy towards these Tigrayans, it could lead to some repairing of ties between Amhara and Tigray. That is why I think Amhara regional government, Amhara news sources, Afar news sources, they should not try to portray them, these refugees, these Tigrayan IDPs, as spies without any evidence. If you have any evidence, then obviously you can prosecute them, you can take legal action against them. Lastly, was a member of an Ethiopian political party have met with US diplomatic staff in Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. We have been hearing complaints since the start of Tigray conflict that US is interfering in Ethiopian internal matters. Now, members of an Ethiopian political party, they are holding meetings with US diplomatic staff and informing them about internal problems in Ethiopia. Baldiras party officials yesterday met with US diplomatic officials. Dr. Bikalo, who is public relations head of Baldiras party, and Solomon Tessima, who is foreign affairs head of Baldiras party, both went to meet some US diplomats in Addis Ababa, and they held a meeting with Usman Ustad. Usman Ustad is deputy counselor of US embassy. What did they discuss there? Which message did the Baldiras party members send to Usman Ustad, US deputy counselor? Firstly, obviously, they talked about imprisonment of their party members. We know that dozens of Baldiras party members were arrested after Adwa and Karamara celebration incidents in Addis Ababa. They have been sent to prison. They have not been released so far. Secondly, national dialogue. Baldiras party members rejected national dialogue in their meeting with US officials. They say this national dialogue is not representative and the body which is overseeing this process is not neutral. Thirdly, they talked about Oromo Liberation Army, that it is conducting genocide of Amharas in Velega, Benishangal Gumus and West Shewa zone of Oromia region. An ethnic cleansing of Amharas is being allegedly perpetrated by OLA fighters in these three zones. So you see that Baldiras is approaching international community about the solution of Ethiopian problems. It also shows that there are no credible, independent conflict resolution mechanisms in Ethiopia. That is why perhaps Baldiras party met with US officials. It does not have trust in Ethiopian courts. Otherwise, it should have pursued these matters legally at Ethiopian courts. But if Baldiras is approaching US, it means that it shows that the party does not have trust in Ethiopian institutions. One of the reasons behind that could be that Ethiopian institutions are not independent and impartial. Thank you for watching.